What's up, guys, and welcome back to another movie talk with Two Scoops. I'm your boy Two Scoops, and if you can't tell based on the shirt and the mug, hold on, it's reversible. If you can't tell by all of the Office gear, today we're gonna be talking about The Office. Now, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a pretty long time, but I kept looking at it as this crazy task. I kept looking at it as it's 8 seasons. How are you gonna do a review of 8 seasons? How are you gonna go into all the details, all of the plot, all of the characters, all of that? It just, the idea of it was overwhelming. But recently, I started thinking, I don't have to do an actual review. I mean, I call it movie talk. This isn't a movie, but talk is the key word, not review. I'm not here to do a review over every movie or every show or every, whatever. I really just want to talk. I don't want to have to feel burdened with giving plot points and all of that stuff all the time. Sometimes I just want to talk to you guys about something that I really enjoy. And The Office is a show that I really enjoy. Whenever I was home, just The Office, just all day for hours, I was hooked because I really loved the show. It was funny, all of the characters. I really love the show. Something that I really enjoy about the show in general is the way that all of the cast members play off of each other. Everybody knows what makes everybody tick. And not from the very first episode. I have to say, going back the first season, it's hilarious to me, but for somebody who hasn't watched it before, I could understand why they might feel like the show isn't that funny or why it feels super awkward or whatever. If you're not a person that likes cringe type comedy, then it might not be for you, but it does start to change after the second season, and I'll tell you why that is. No surprise, the US Office was copying the UK Office, but after season 1, they decided that they had to do something different. If the show was gonna go on for more seasons, they had to do something to make Michael more likable. So if you're a fan of The Office, go back and watch season 1. It's only like 6 episodes, and then season 2. And pay attention to Michael. You're gonna see a contrast between season 1 Michael and moving forward. In the beginning, they tried to make him look really sleazy. They had his hair gelled back. He was wearing shirts that were too big with the sleeves rolled up and big pants, and he just looked like a sleazy, ineffective boss. And that's the look that they were going for, and they achieved it, but they realized that people want to see happy endings. People want to root for the main characters of their shows, and if you look back, you really couldn't root for Michael in a lot of those episodes. A lot of those episodes ended with him just being a jerk. Like, think about the episode when he made Dwight pick the insurance plan for the rest of the office. That episode literally ended with him lying to the employees and telling them that he had a surprise for them at the end of the day because he had already dug a hole for himself by allowing Dwight Schrute to pick the healthcare plan.
What did I do? I did my job. I slashed benefits to the bone. I saved this company money. In the wild, healthcare is, ow, I hurt my leg. I can't run. A lion eats me, and I'm dead. I'm not dead. I'm the lion. You're dead.
So he told them that he had a special surprise for them at the end of the day. And what happens at the end of the day? Nothing. He just continues to stall, and it ends with everybody walking away. And they even make an effort to put the camera on Jim and show how angry he is, how frustrated he is. And from season 2 moving forward, you'll notice that there was a change. Every episode, it might not have ended on a happy note, but it didn't end on those type of emotions. And I want to say the very first episode of season 2, the Dundies, how that ends, Michael is bombing, people aren't interested in it. And what do we get? Instead of the whole office teaming up against Michael and being upset and storming out, they actually start clapping and they start encouraging Michael, and it ends on a more happy note. And that's because the show writers realized that they needed to have a character that people could get behind and that people could love. So instead of Michael being an incompetent jerk of a boss, he became an ignorant boss. And I don't mean ignorant in the way that we use ignorance sometimes. I mean ignorant in a literal term, as in he just doesn't have the knowledge for a lot of the situations that he gets himself in. He doesn't mean to be racist. He's just trying to tell a joke. He doesn't mean to be insensitive. He just says what comes to mind, and he's not really giving a lot of thought to it. So that's a change that you see in his character from season 2 moving forward. I also love how the character of Ryan, when he started off, you really thought that he was going to be the straight man of the show. You thought he was going to be the one next to Jim, but even Jim was a clown. I mean, in the very first episode, he put the white stapler in Jell-O. So we didn't really have a straight man yet, and we thought that that was going to be Ryan. But what happens, Ryan actually, his real name, BJ something. I'll get it and I'll put it right here. Anyway, he became a writer for certain episodes or for a lot of the episodes. And he literally made the decision to make his character turn into a clown like the rest of them. And that's something that I love, because you don't really realize it when you watch it the first time. You just look up one day and he's a clown. Everybody's a clown. But after you've watched the show for the first time all the way through and you go back, and I've watched this show like 5 times, so I'm watching it again. I caved in, I got Peacock. It's really not as bad as people were making it out to be. I didn't want to get it because I hate the idea that all of these new streaming services are coming up and everybody wants to have their own content on their own streaming service. And I'm like, we're gonna be paying a cable bill in a minute if they keep taking everything from certain streaming services and putting it on unique streaming services. I digress. Anyway, I went and got Peacock, and so I'm currently rewatching it. And every time you watch it, you actually get to see how these characters grow and develop a little bit more. Because like I say, that first time you watch it, you're just so into it that you don't even realize that these characters are really changing. You just look up one day and you're in season 6 and everybody is a clown. Creed is a clown. Kevin is a clown. Jim, the white, Pam, everybody's a clown. There is literally, by the last season, there is nobody who's not a clown in one shape or form. And I love it because I'm a clown, and so I resonate with these characters. But more than anything, I think that the directing of The Office is what makes me enjoy it the most. I've never been, well, you know what, I won't say I've never been, because there are shows that I like that do the 3-camera setup, which is basically, for example, a show like Martin. Those shows are filmed on a live studio lot. And so there's an audience. I mean, there's not always an audience, but a lot of the time there is. And they're literally on a stage. And so what happens in shows like that is you have like 3 main locations. So to continue with the Martin example, you have the living room, you have the bedroom, and then sometimes they show you the kitchen. But other than that, you don't see too much outside of their building unless they go to the DMV, or you never get to see them outside, and it never feels like they're really in a real world. And that doesn't mean that the show is bad. I like Martin. I've never been a huge fan, don't kill me, but I like Martin. It's funny. But I've always been drawn towards shows that use the single camera approach. If you don't know what single camera is, it's basically like over the shoulder. Like, it feels like the camera is just like going around, and because it is, and it feels more real that way. The world feels lived in. They're actually on location. It has more of a movie type of feel to it. And so shows like that just draw me in. But the thing that got me about The Office, and I actually saw a post about this on Facebook, is that when the camera pans to any character when something dumb has happened, in most cases Jim, they put the camera on him and he goes, or like he is the person that's reacting. Everybody gets their own reaction shots, from time to time. But I think Jim is the one that gets it the most. But anyway, that's how it feels in real life when you're talking to somebody or you're out in public and you see something that's crazy or, just confuses you. Your first instinct is to go, and I know I'm guilty of it. I'll actually say stuff and I feel bad. I don't feel bad. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I say stuff though. If I see something I'm gonna say it, and not because I'm trying to be mean, but usually it's just, you know, it's my personality, and after watching The Office, it just kind of intensified it in me. So if I see somebody like, for example, I went to Six Flags not too long ago, and I saw a guy with some really big blue jeans on and a really low cut pink V-neck shirt, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the look. Like, I ain't had nothing against him personally, but I just thought it was a poor choice of clothing that he put on that day. I don't know why he went outside like that. And so that was and I said that, and my sister heard me. I was like, actually, no, I specifically said it to her. I looked at her, I said, I don't like his shirt. I don't think he should have wore that today. That's just my opinion. And so The Office is kind of, it feels like it's how I would react in those situations. As far as character development, it does fall into some of the pit holes that shows fall into over time, is that characters kind of grow and develop, and then for plot purposes they might regress. But overall, I think all of the characters had their own plot points, and they all grew and developed, and they all had stories that we kind of got to see all the way through. We got to follow Jim and Pam and their flirtatious thing through the first 3 seasons. And I have to say, the first time watching it, the will they, won't they, and wanting them to get together, it seemed like it took forever. But in reality, they basically get together like by the 4th episode of season 4. And like I say, season 1 is only like 6 episodes. Season 2 and 3, maybe like 20 something episodes. So we're talking about maybe 50 something episodes, which sounds like a lot, but I promise you, it flies by when you've already seen the show and you know where it's going. And so that was kind of interesting to me, how long it felt it took the first time around. And then by the second time and third time watching the series, it just seems like it happens faster and faster every time. But I definitely enjoy watching their relationship and them grow as a person, and Jim growing from a nonchalant, don't really care, don't want to be here, to, you know, matriculating through and growing within the company, and then starting his own company with Daryl. And also I love Daryl. He's funny. He doesn't get a whole lot of chances to shine, but whenever Daryl is on screen, I'm telling you, the dude is funny. Everybody from The Warehouse, whenever they got the chance, they were funny. The only character I did not really care for, or don't really care for, is Roy. And there's nothing against him. I think they just wrote him to be a terrible person for the most part. Even though he gets his happy ending in the end, it really only happens so that they can contrast it with Jim and Pam's relationship and make it seem like they aren't as happy as they thought that they would be. And I didn't really like that so much, because you show us them and now, you know, everything that it takes to get to the point that they're at, and just for them to kind of fall into this rut, and then the whole thing with Pam and the camera guy. Again, I digress. And maybe that's the showrunners making an attempt to make it seem more real, but I don't know. I feel like when I watch a show, or movie, I don't always need it to be super realistic. Sometimes you want to immerse yourself in this fantasy world where every ending is happy for the most part, and nobody ever really gets hurt, and nobody ever really, you know, gets in trouble or whatever. Like, I don't know. I feel like certain shows and certain movies are made for that, and they're in that category. But comedies, I don't really need to see marital issues, at least not in the way that they portrayed it. Like, I never wanted to be one of those people that say Jim and Pam's relationship got boring after they got together. But a lot of the fun, I'm turning. Okay. Pennywise, is that you? I don't want to float, man. I just watched it, part 1 and 2, and look, you got Georgie. I get it. He had the boat, it was going down, and it fell in the sewer, and you told him, hey, the circus is under here, and, you know, we all float. But listen, if it was me, you keep the boat. I don't need it. I don't want it. It was just a paper boat, put some wax on it to make it float. Bill can make me another. I don't need the boat. Sorry, guys. If y'all seen it, that's just one of the funniest things to me. I mean, the kid was like 6, I understand, but still, I have to think that at 6 or 7, however old Georgie was, I would have known not to talk to a clown in a sewer. Especially now when he's telling me that everybody under here floats. What does that even mean? He said the circus was down there. He said, "Can't you smell the popcorn? Do you want a balloon?" No, dude, I don't want none of that. I don't want the popcorn. I don't want a balloon. I don't want to float. I don't even want the boat. Keep it. I will make another one. But no, Georgie wanted the boat. And what happened? He died. Anyway, back to The Office. As far as favorite characters go, and I know I'm jumping all over the place because I have not written a script. I just got on camera. I was like, I've seen this show so many times, and again, it's not a review. I just want to talk about why I love this show so much. So, favorite characters, it has to be between Dwight, Jim, Andy before season 7, Michael, of course. Michael's at the top. So I would say Michael, Dwight, Jim, Andy. I think those are my top favorite characters. Ryan, after he becomes the CEO? No, he wasn't a CEO. Whatever the position was that he got when he was in corporate, right after he started his downfall from that situation is when I really started to like Ryan, because it's like he finally accepted the fact that he was destined to be a clown from the beginning. It was never any hope for him. I love his relationship with Kelly. I like how toxic they are and how he hates her, but he loves her, and she just loves him. And it's crazy, and they just are on and off, and it's just hilarious. I love Michael's relationship with Jan, even though we knew they weren't supposed to be together because Jan was a nut and Michael wanted other things, and it's just, I don't know. I can't even, there's so much to talk about. I don't even know where to go from here, but the show, I just love it. Like I say, I watched it in college, and I started watching it in college, and it became one of my favorite shows so quickly. And I can't really tell you why. I mean, besides the fact that I told you the single camera approach and the world feels lived in, but the show just it's hilarious to me. I don't know, but it is funny when you watch it. You can really see how it kind of changes over time, like how they really did try to make it seem like the day in the life of a regular employee working at a paper company, but you can see as the seasons progress, people start dressing more colorfully, the office starts to become more lively, and it kind of goes from that real life type of vibe to a more like nobody really works in a place like this, but you wish that you did. And maybe that's why I really was drawn to it as well, is that's just the type of job that you wish you had. I don't think I would ever really hate going to work if I worked somewhere like that. They hardly ever do work, if we're being honest. And here we go. There's a lot of people that say the show isn't funny anymore after Michael leaves. I agree that the show lost a significant amount of something, and a significant amount of that something when Michael left. But the show was still funny to me. Some people hated Robert California. I liked Robert California. He just said off the wall stuff, and I think that's the perfect type of person for that environment, for that world that they created. Everybody there is crazy in one way or another, and Robert California was no exception to that. Like, there was one episode, the episode when they were interviewing people, and he came in for the interview, and I forgot what Jim said, but he said, Jim, he said, would you like for me to use a nature-related metaphor or a sexual metaphor? And Jim was like, oh, God, please, nature. And he was like, when two animals are having sex, you know what, Jim, this isn't going to work. You're really going to want to hear the sexual metaphor. Like, the dude was just bonkers. but he fit to me. No, he wasn't a perfect replacement for Michael, but nobody would have been, because Steve Carell just fit that character. He embodied that character, and he was a completely different character than what they were going for with Robert California. And I respect the fact that they didn't try to replace Michael with another type of Michael, because we've all seen that in the past. If you're a fan of that 70s show, when Eric left and then Michael left, you saw that they brought in, I don't even remember his name, that's how little I cared about him. But he basically was like Michael and Eric combined. He had like a Kelso type of vibe to him, but he ended up dating Donna, and you know, he was a little goofy like Kelso, but he, you know, wasn't completely a Kelso. So it's like they tried to give this one character qualities of the two characters that left, two main characters that left, and you just left feeling kind of cheap. So even though nobody wants to see characters leave a show, when they do leave, I think the best thing to do is not try to make a carbon copy of that character, but to introduce a new character and let that character grow on the audience. I still think season 7 and 8 are funny. They're not as funny as the previous seasons, but I can still watch them. I don't like what they did with Andy's character, though. I know during the last season, Andy, or I forget his real name, but he was filming the Hangover movie, and so he couldn't be on set too much, so they needed a reason to write him out, and so he got on that boat and he was gone. And I just didn't like the way they did his character. Like, Andy he always had the anger thing. He always had like his personality flaws that, you know, made him a little unbearable sometimes, but he wasn't a character that you hated. And they turned him into a villain by the last couple of seasons. Like, you really just didn't like Andy. He turned into like the complete opposite of what he was. And I don't think they had to do all of that to write him out. I don't know if it was an issue with the staff or whatever, and they purposely wanted to taint that character, but Andy was funny and he was likable in a silly way. All of his singing is give me the beat, boy, and play. Wait. And then my soul, I wanna get lost in your rock and roll and drift away. Yeah. Like, all of his stupid, silly singing and just like, it was funny, and they really did him dirty, and I don't know what that was about. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. I've talked a lot. I know I haven't hit every possible detail, but that was never my goal. I just kind of wanted to talk to y'all about a show that I really enjoy and I really find joy in. And like I say, I'm watching it again right now, and I'm enjoying it just as much as I did the first time around and the second time around. And if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend that you watch it. It's a funny show. Like I say, from the first season, it might seem like it's a little more cringy than funny, and it was done like that on purpose. But after those 6 or 7 episodes, there is a change, and characters become more lively after that. I think season 2 is when the show really started to become what it is known as now. Most of the hilarious clips and memes and stuff that you see are from season 2 and up. So if you can get through season 1, I promise you, you're gonna enjoy yourself. This is a show that I've been able to share with friends. We have inside jokes, and my mom know I love the show. I think she got me this shirt. And it's just it's a really good show, and I think it's gonna go down as top 5 in history for me. I don't know about history. I've never been huge on TV. I've always loved movies, but as far as television shows and stuff, I haven't seen enough, I would say, to be able to say, oh man, this is one of the best shows ever. But it is funny, and it introduced me to a type of comedy that I didn't know I was missing. So for that reason, I give it an A+. Really good show. Highly recommend. If you like this video, hit that like button for me. Hit that share button for me. Subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell so that you're notified whenever I drop another video. Come back again, because these videos are gonna start coming fast. faster, hopefully. The content's getting better. I still gotta get my setup together, but I'm coming hard. So, yeah, stay tuned. This channel is about to blow up, but you knew that already. See you next time.